Have you noticed how some things you once wanted deeply no longer hold the same pull over your heart? Not in a dramatic way, not with anger or disappointment, just quietly. Something you used to chase, think about, plan around now feels distant, like a sound fading in another room. If that's happening to you, let me sit with you here for a moment. Not to fix it, not to push you, just to help you understand what this kind of change can mean. Because sometimes what feels like losing desire is actually the beginning of being guided. When our desires change, it can feel unsettling in a way that's hard to explain. You might think, what happened to the person I used to be? You might wonder if you wasted years wanting something that no longer fits in your hands. Or you might feel pressure to stay consistent, because the world around you remembers who you said you wanted to become. Think of a simple example. Maybe there was a goal you once spoke about with energy, a career you imagined yourself in, a lifestyle you planned around, a habit you promised you would never let go of, or even a quiet dream you carried in your heart and never said out loud. You planned for it. You pictured yourself there. You built part of your identity around becoming that version of you. And now when you think about it, there's no excitement, no pull, no fire, just a calm distance. That kind of change can feel like losing a part of yourself. But what if it's not loss? What if it's something softer and wiser, unfolding beneath the surface? In Islam, we are taught something gentle but powerful. Hearts are not static. They move, they turn, and Allah is the one who guides them. The Prophet ﷺ taught us to ask Allah often to keep our hearts firm, because even the strongest heart can shift, not as a weakness, but as a sign that guidance is alive, not frozen. Sometimes we think Allah changes our lives by changing our situations. A new job, a new place, a new person, a new opportunity. But often, something quieter happens first. Our hearts begin to move before our lives do. The desire that once drove you starts to soften. The interest that once defined you begins to fade. The motivation that once felt urgent becomes calm, or even silent. And this can feel confusing, because we are taught to measure progress by what we gain, not by what we stop wanting. But perhaps this is part of Allah's wisdom as Al-Hakim, the All-Wise, and part of His guidance as Al-Hadi, the one who leads. Sometimes Allah does not change your situation. He changes what you seek from it. You may still be in the same place, the same role, the same routine, but inside, the reason you are there starts to shift. What you once wanted for status, you now want for peace. What you once chased for approval, you now approach with sincerity. What you once desired to prove something, you now hold gently, without needing it to define you. Your heart moves first. And then, when the time is right, your life can follow. This is why intention niyyah matters so deeply in Islam. Because intention is not just about what you do. It is about what your heart is leaning toward while you do it. And when Allah guides the heart, the path begins to realign quietly, without noise, without announcement. We often tie our identity to what we want. I am the person who wants this. I am the one who is chasing that. I am defined by this dream, this goal, this role. So when the desire changes, it can feel like the ground under your sense of self starts to shift. You might ask, if I don't want this anymore, who am I now? But perhaps this is part of Allah's gentle strategy. Old desires can sometimes keep us in a version of ourselves that no longer fits who we are becoming. Not because those desires were wrong, but because they belong to a chapter that has already taught you what it needed to teach. New direction needs new motivation. New paths require a different kind of pull. If Allah were to change your life without first changing your heart, you might arrive somewhere beautiful and still feel restless, still feel empty, still feel like you do not belong there. So instead, the heart is prepared first. The attachment softens, the excitement quiets, the grip loosens, and only then does the door begin to appear. Sometimes Allah does not close doors. He closes the desire to walk through them, not to punish you, but to protect you from building a life around something that no longer fits the person you are becoming. Allah does not take away what you love. He teaches your heart what to love next. And when desire changes, destiny begins to shift slowly, gently, in a way that does not rush or force, but guides. If you are in this place right now, let me say this softly. You are not losing yourself. You are not becoming empty. You are not erasing your past. Everything you once wanted, everything you worked toward, everything you cared about, it trained you. It shaped you. It gave you skills, strength, patience, and understanding. Those chapters were not wasted. They were preparation. A desire fading does not mean a life shrinking. It can mean a heart making room. Room for something that fits more deeply. Room for something that aligns more gently with who you are inside, not just who you present to the world. You did not lose ambition. Your direction changed. You did not fail to become who you said you would be. You became someone who no longer needs the same things to feel whole. Perhaps this shift is not about becoming less. Perhaps it is about becoming more honest with yourself and with Allah. And in that honesty, there is a kind of peace that does not come from reaching a goal, but from feeling aligned with the path itself. When Allah changes your desires before He changes your life, it is not because He is taking something away. It may be that He is guiding your heart toward where your life is meant to go. The quiet loss of interest, the soft fading of old wants, the calm that replaces urgency. These are not empty spaces. They can be gentle signs of alignment, of a heart being tuned, not erased. So if tonight you find yourself wondering why you do not want what you used to, sit with that question without fear. Let it be a moment of listening, not judging. Because sometimes, guidance does not arrive as a new dream. It arrives as the peaceful release of an old one. May Allah align our hearts with what brings us closer to Him, guide our desires with wisdom, and lead our lives with peace. And may you walk forward not driven by what you have lost, but gently guided by what your heart is learning to seek.